All right, man. So, no team that I have picked to win in round two has won a game yet. The Wolves had a disastrous offensive game. Steph has a hamstring injury. That's obviously a huge deal. Warriors got enough scoring out of Jimmy and Buddy and Draymond threes. But we are going to start with the Cavs and the Pacers because the Cavs being down 2-0 is, of course, huge. And yeah, no Mobley, no Garland, no DeAndre Hunter tonight. And even with that said, the Cavs, it was looking really good for a while where they were forcing turnovers. Dean Wade's playing good defense on Siakam, or Jared Allen's going up super high to freak out Nembhard on a screen action, or the Cavs are, besides Mitchell going insane, getting enough of Max Strus screening for Ty Jerome, let's say, to just put Halliburton in a tough spot, and that creates a drive or a good shot for Strus or somebody, and then, Mitchell just drawing millions of fouls, a lot of them from getting Isaac Okoro screening for him. It felt like they were going to win this, and then they had a disastrous last couple of minutes, and now the Cavs are really up against the wall here. Of course, the shot from Halliburton late there was great. Credit to him, no doubt. He was cooking on that one. Love it. But as the Pacers came back, it was a total team thing. The Nesmith putback dunk was crazy. There was also a Mathurin putback dunk, I believe, on a free throw earlier that was great. And then the Pacers, they had an interesting stretch in the fourth where it felt like it was a lot of Nembhard. It was like Nembhard running screen actions, whereas Halliburton wasn't as much. And I remember three where they got buckets on all of them. One was a Nesmith corner three. One was Nembhard crashing into Max Strus. Perhaps you could have argued this was an offensive foul, but there was a lot of contact between them. Nembhard gets a three-point play. Another time where they switch it, and then Turner gets a bucket on Okoro switching on him. And then, while Mitchell was just drawing what felt like so many fouls or just getting so many finishes in the paint, it really just felt like a whole bunch of Okoro screening for him around half court where he could get downhill. Sometimes gets the Halliburton switch, sometimes splits a double team, whatever. That was all great. But there were just a few stops in there between two on him, and then it ended up with Okoro and Ty Jerome kind of defining the play, and that became a turnover. Also, Ty Jerome, just rough, very rough shooting game. 1 for 14, and it felt worse than that. The Miles Turner also had a great play of just protecting the basket on a Strus drive. So those are just little teeny plays. Now, it did feel like when Strus got that three off of, if not a Mitchell double, then they're clearly shading Mitchell a lot. They were up 7 with a minute left. It still felt like it was going to be the Cavs win. And then the Nesmith putback dunk on the free throw, I don't know if it flipped some sort of supernatural switch or something, but then it's Mitchell offensive foul on Nesmith. The disaster inbound pass, which was a hell of a play by Nembhard, because Ty Jerome was kind of boxing him out, and Nembhard just spun off of him and stole it, and then, Halliburton fouled. They get the offensive rebound. He gets the three, and there you go, ball game. And so now we go to Indiana, where we still don't know with Mobley, Garland, Allen. Obviously, it's a must-win game 3. This is suddenly a pretty scary spot for the Cavs. Look, Jared Allen in this game, I thought he was doing really well on hook shots and floaters when he had the opportunities off of screens. Again, Max Strus screening on or off the ball, or Sam Merrill being involved in some sort of DHO action. I think that was able to get them enough offense outside of Mitchell just kind of barrel into the basket as much as you can. It was getting dangerous on some of those drives, similar to game 1. But man, if they're going to have to just do this for game after game in these playoffs, now going to Indiana, that's going to be tough. We'll see what the injury report for them, but man, does it really come down to do Max Strus and Sam Merrill make enough off the catch turning threes where the Pacers are going to be closing out on them? And also, does Ty Jerome make enough floaters and shots off the dribble and all that? You're suddenly asking these guys to be way more important for you, but what else is there? Mitchell, he had 40-something tonight. That's great. He's going to probably have to do something similar again if these injuries hold up. It's dicey stuff for the Cavs, man. Now, I thought the Pacers were going to give them a good series, assuming that Cleveland was going to be healthy. So yeah, we'll see, man. Then we can go on to the Warriors and the Wolves. What an offensive bad game from the Wolves in this one. It got a little better as it went along, but especially in that second quarter, first half overall. Oh my God. So, okay. We're mostly going to talk about the game, but for Steph real quick, hamstring injuries can be weird. We will see. Hopefully he's all good. I don't know what else to say besides that. There were definitely some missed threes that they will feel okay about. I do think they were rushed. I do think Ant, especially early in this game, was having a very difficult time anticipating where the help was coming from for the Warriors, or he was having a tough time finishing, whether that was through multiple Warriors crowding him in the paint, or Jimmy meeting him at the rim as a help guy, or Draymond being right there in front of the basket for a couple in the second half, I want to say. As the game went on, he got better at it, featuring a really nice Euro step around Draymond where he got by GP2 on the drive. I want to say it was GP2. But throughout the disaster stretch they had, Where again, if you go through every play, there's going to be some open missed threes. Like I remember one time, I think it was the Warriors, if not a zone, it was a weird type of help defense, I don't know. They get it to Randall in the middle of the floor. Ant gets a relatively open three. It doesn't go in. Okay. That's still different than a comfortable Ant drive, Randall drive, whatever. Then you had plays where like Conley's getting to the middle of the floor, but it's too packed for him to get something comfortable. So it's like a skip to Dante and it's a well-contested three, or it's a lob attempt to Rudy, but neither one of them was like really comfortable on the play. The timing was way off. Draymond was in the middle of that one. You've got like Dante running a screen with Jaden, and it's Draymond on Gobert in the dunker spot, and then it's Jimmy helping off of Randall in the corner. Two of the best help defenders in the NBA staring at you as you're trying to make a decision in half a second. And that becomes a turnover with, I think, Jimmy stealing a bounce pass. It also did feel like Draymond was kind of all over the place with who he was starting possessions on. Like, there were some possessions where he was on Randall and, like, Jimmy was on Gobert. Other times Draymond was on Gobert. There were a couple of plays where I was like, maybe the skip to Jaden was there. Maybe the dump off to Gobert was there. But, again, I just feel like the Warriors had Ant guessing a lot tonight. And also complaining to the refs sometimes a little too much, to the point where he doesn't get back on defense. That was a really bad play. Maybe he did get hit. I don't know, but he's got to get back. We'll see there. Now, he did end up with 23. He did get some at the end. Like, he beat Looney on a switch. He made a tough three. There were a couple of Ant-Randall two-man game actions when Draymond was on Randall for a stretch that I do think worked out. It was Draymond at the three-point line as opposed to Draymond at the rim. And listen, as one of the bigger Rudy Gobert fans, I guess just off the back of some people think he's horrible, I will concede, yes, Gobert being in the game allows Draymond to just stand right in front of the basket, which is going to make anything you're doing tougher. Again, for when Draymond was matched up on him, he was not on Gobert for every single possession of this game. I mean, I don't think it's a complete coincidence that when Naz Reid came in the game and made some threes and the floor was a little more spaced out and Ant got a couple of really like wide open layups off of Naz spacing the floor out, yeah, that did wake up their offense some. But yeah, Ant in this game, 2 assists, 3 turnovers? The Warriors will gladly take that. And yes, they also shot really poorly from 3. They will shoot better, but it felt like the Wolves were just not really comfortable pretty much all night on offense, outside of some select stretches, more so in the second half, which does line up with some of the fears I had going into the series. I still picked the Wolves, but it was like, well, their offense might suck in the clutch. Well, their offense sucked for so much of this game that there was no clutch. Speaking of offense, Buddy, Jimmy, 4 threes from Draymond. My goodness. If I can just call out one heads-up play from Jimmy. So throughout this game, there were definitely moments where Jimmy was passing out of stuff around the rim because Gobert's right there. He did have a floater on him late in the game that was huge, but another one that was great was Jimmy, he took Gobert baseline and it kind of forced the switch, and then he immediately keeps on dribbling and flips it to Buddy, knowing that Gobert is probably not going to be high enough on the screen in time, and he wasn't, and Buddy got, I think, if it wasn't his last 3, then it was like his second to last 3 of the game. Also, Jimmy's bank 3 from damn near half court was incredible. But speaking of threes, I mean, Draymond 4 for 10, GP 2 for 3, and Draymond making his threes tonight did make Gobert come out a little bit more, which opened up a backdoor cut for, I think it was Jimmy on one play, but I'm guessing the Wolves will tell those two, okay, go do it again. And yeah, it was definitely impressive for the Warriors to find a way to get enough offense with Steph gone. I mean, they scored 99 points. We're not going to act like they scored a million here, but with incredible defense on one end and then figuring it out enough on the other end, you win the game without Steph. But of course, Steph's hamstring injury is a massive thing. And we know that hamstring injuries can be just really weird, where you think you're good and then you're not good, and they can just kind of linger on. And I'm talking regular season, so for the playoffs, we will just hope for the best. I also want to shout out Looney, because there was a stretch there in that fourth where Gobert, he's getting some putbacks, he's scoring, he dunked on Jimmy one time, and then Steve Kerr put Looney in there, and he just kind of stabilized all that for a little bit. So yeah, man, a lot of emotions going any which way tonight. We all found out the announcement of the Cavs, a bunch of their guys are out. Oh, crap, well, this really sucks for them. Oh, wait a minute, they might win the game anyway. Oh, no, actually, they lost. Warriors, Wolves. Okay, so the Wolves can't score. Oh, no, Steph is out. Oh, wait, the Wolves still can't score. Oh, the Warriors won. Cool. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.